Hey there folks, how are we doing? Firstly, yes, this is a Christmas t-shirt, but it is never too early in the year to be rocking the Pogues. Absolutely love it. Secondly, I've had a fair few requests in recent weeks about drum mics on a student budget. I've got lots of students who are in bands who want to record those bands at home, in their home studio or in their garage or their shed, and they want to know what mics represent good value for money. So I'm going to talk about some of the best options for under £500, that's £500 total, and then I'll talk about what I'm using on my kit that is probably a bit more top end and maybe a bit more aspirational. Hope it's helpful. So my first top choice for a student budget kick drum mic is the AKG D112. This is a staple of the music industry, and you've probably seen this at most gigs and in most studios that you've ever been to or seen pictures of. It is a really good mic for the money. It gives you a nice low end thump and has a pronounced peak up around 4K for a bit of slap or attack for that beta sound. You can't go wrong with this mic. The D112 will set you back around £95 new or around £70 second hand. My choice for snare drum is the Sennheiser E609. This is a great mic designed to face guitar cabs face on and can be dangled and not use a stand. So you can also use it for that purpose in your home studio, so you're getting double bang for your buck. It's a great mic to use on snare drum as well. It's also side fire, so you can squeeze it in tight places around the drum kit if you've got a clamp or even a small stand. This mic will set you back around £69. For toms, we're going with the AKG P4. The P stands for Perception, which is AKG's budget but quite robust range of microphones. These cost around £45 each, so a set of 3 will cost you £135. For overheads, we're going small diaphragm condenser, and I've chosen the Rode M5s. These represent really good value for money. They're very robust, and for this price, they sound excellent. A pair of them will cost you £120. So those are my budget choices, and if you total all that up, you get £488, which is not an out of the way expense for a student with a Saturday job, maybe working once or twice in the week, maybe asking for money for birthdays and Christmas to save up over a few months so that they can record their band or their music to a much higher quality. Now, over the years, I've spent a lot of time and money on microphones in general, but none more so than the mics I buy for my drum kit. I love the sound of my drum kit now, so I'm just going to go over some of the higher end mic choices that I currently have on my kit as more of an aspiration for students just starting out their recording journey. On my kick, I actually use 2 mics. I use one inside and one outside. Inside, I've got a Sennheiser E902, which is my absolute favourite mic. It's got a low-end thud and a nice high-end thwack that gets the beta sound. And if you're looking for that rock punk sound, it's absolutely the best choice. Just outside the kick drum, I've got an Electro Voice RE320, which has got a switch on it that tailors it specifically to bass drums, and it gives a really nice mellow thud to the sound that, when mixed with the Sennheiser mic inside, gives me the perfect sound for my kick. The E902 will set you back about £135. The RE320 will set you back about £220. On my snare drum, I use a Sennheiser MD441, an absolute classic snare mic and industry standard. They are rather expensive at over £650 new. However, if you can find a second-hand one, you're likely to pay around £400. It's got various switches and bass cuts on it, which is perfect for different types of snare drum, and it gives a really nice thwacky yet low-end sound that suits my snare drum really well. Underneath the snare drum, I've got a Rode NT55 with the bass cut filter turned on, and I point it directly at the middle of the drum, and it's just to pick up that sizzle and rattle of the snares. The NT55 will set you back around £225. On my toms, I switch between 2 different sets of mics. I mainly use Sennheiser MD421s, which are the industry standard for toms. They have a beautiful low thuddiness and a nice clarity in the top end. One of those mics will set you back around £310. However, I also use Electro Voice ND44s, which are small clip-on mics. So anytime I need more cymbals on the kit, or I've got more toms on the kit where space is at a premium, I use the small clip-on ND44s, and they sound around 80% as good to my ears as the Sennheisers. The ND44 will set you back around £90 for one. As overheads, I've tried many different mics as they're the main sound of my kit when mixing. However, in recent years, I have settled on the Aston Spirit. They are by far and away the best overhead mics I've ever heard. They've got 3 patterns on them, Omni, Figure 8 and Cardioid, and I do switch between them for different types of music. They've got a bass cut and a pad, and to me, they are the perfect overhead mic when compared to any of the others that I've used. They will set you back around £270 each. In addition to the kick, snare, toms and overheads, I also mic my hi-hat, and I use an Audio-Technica ATM 450. It's a small diaphragm pencil condenser, but it is side address, so it's really handy to fit into awkward spaces over the hi-hat or under the hi-hat. And I've also used that mic to mic up the snare in the past when I wanted a more sizzly sound. This mic costs around £240 new, however you can probably pick up a pair of them for around £200 second hand. As well as all the close mics on my kit, I also use an SE-R1 ribbon mic about 6 inches from the floor on a short mic stand behind the snare drum and to the left of the kick drum. This is a slight adaptation of the approach that Warren Hewitt uses, where he points a ribbon mic at the side of the snare drum from roughly the same position. I find that by adding quite a lot of compression and sometimes some distortion to the signal from this mic and gradually mixing it in with the overall drum sound can really help add some depth and grit to what might otherwise be quite a stale drum sound. It's a really useful tip, but it's not essential in terms of student budget recording. And here's how all that sounds. Now, the total for those mics obviously runs into the several thousands, but bear in mind that's a collection I've built up over around 20 years, so I'm not expecting a student just starting out to have access to those kind of resources. But let's remember that the 2 things that make the biggest difference to the recorded sound is the person playing the instrument and the instrument itself. And my top advice for you on that is to practice. Both practice playing your drums and practice maintaining your drums. Learn how to tune them, learn what skins sound best for you, learn about the mechanics of them, learn how to set them up. And you'll have done 80% of the work of a recording session before you even get there, regardless of the mic choice. You can get really good results from those budget mics we looked at if you've got a good drummer and a nice drum kit. Okay folks, I hope that's been useful. If you want to know anything else, please get in touch. Other than that, have a great day.